If I could open it. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers Without Filters podcast, episode 153. I'm your I can't say that yet. I am your host, Jacob Thompson. But as you know, we're back for Bullshit Bracket Round 3, the final round of the Bullshit Bracket 2022. And this week, we're doing a little Mascot Maelstrom, trying to figure out who is the best mascot. And I'll tell you what, when I first, posed this topic to the group, I was thinking sports mascots. That has quickly devolved into something today. I'm not sure what's going to happen, folks. It's going to be some crazy bullshit shit. All right. So yeah, as always, let me introduce our players for today. In consolation match number 1, aka a rematch of last year's finals, aka the loser of the losers match. He's known as the man that's tired of going first, and frankly, tired of this whole competition. Can he turn his car around in this finals match? With the Michelin Man, Joseph, the Grand Champ.
What is up? I'm going back to my roots today, whatever. Drinking a PBR, also out of my winner's glass, because I have to. It is now forever tradition. So
yeah, do it.
And
did you like my tire puns, Joseph?
I did. It was pretty top tier.
Thank you.
I was really gripping the edge of my seat with that.
His opponent has gained fame for his fruity picks. However, this year, everyone has seen right through him. Will he scare everyone with a strong finish? Repping Booberry, Alex Perkins.
Like that. Those puns are good.
I don't
know about seeing right through me though. I think everyone's just adapted to my meta. I'm a real trailblazer down here in the losers bracket. I'm drinking Coke with coffee.
Oh,
I've never had it. I'll do a quick little taste test.
Yeah,
taste it.
I want the review.
It's awful. It's really not good.
Who could have saw that coming?
There's no alcohol in it, right? It's just
Nope.
straight Coke with extra caffeine, I guess.
And it tastes like coffee, kind of.
All right, there we go. In consolation match number 2, like his mascot, this contender has had his ups and downs. Will his performance today keep him out of the slammer? With Jared the Subway guy, Gabe Tillman.
That was really good. What's up, everybody? I'm drinking PBR with coffee. No, I'm just kidding. I have a Northeast with the background's fucking me. Northeast with a Flavor Wave cozy. For today, pretty good.
Don't they sell PBR with coffee?
They do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I'm scared to try it though.
I've heard it's good.
Really?
By some random guy in the liquor store.
Yeah, so it just tastes like coffee. It does. I've had that as well. It doesn't taste like. It's not really a beer. No, it's just like an alcoholic coffee drink.
That doesn't sound that bad, to be honest. I'll have to buy it.
Good. What, hair of the dog? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, hair of the dog that bit you. There you go.
Yep.
His opponent showed off his versatility last week, cooking up a whole new strategy. This week, will his argument be hot and crispy or cold and soggy? With Spuddy the Spud, Jacob Thompson. Hello, everyone. I'm once again drinking the Upland Wheat Ale that I drank last week because I have not drinking any alcohol since last week. So there we go. Burke and I have a bachelor party coming up this coming weekend, and I'm going to be a major lightweight, and it's not going to be good. But that's all right. In consolation match number 3, a.k.a. the third place match, kind of. She's looking to add some zest after disappointment last week. Today, can she strike when the time is ripe? Repping Auto the Orange, Molly Boswell. Molly, are you still with us? I saw you were having some technical issues.
Yeah. That is.
Hearing no response right now. Hopefully she'll be back soon. I'm going to continue with the introductions and hope she comes back shortly. Her opponent was beaten down last week by the crushing realities of society, aka no one voted for him. This week, we just have one question. Can he do it? With Rosie the Riveter, Josh Cole.
Hello? You said that like I was Rosie the Riveter, but I'm not. got Coca-Cola, vanilla cherry,
Without coffee.
with no coffee.
Sans coffee. In a grand finals rematch for the ages, she's back and better than ever and ready to get the crowd roaring. She's mean, green, and ready to take what's hers. With Philly the Fanatic, Emily Widensee.
All right, happy to be here. Drinking some water. Don't really have an excuse other than that. Just need to hydrate. Yeah, that's what's going on, and we're excited to go sound.
There we go. Her opponent is also returning to the finals, attempting to repeat his victory against Emily 2 years ago. Will we see something new and fresh, or just a cheap orange imitation? With Gritty, Dayton Pax.
Oh my god. So
I am. Looks like I'm. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's not something to
Sorry, Emily or Molly just dropped out. I have to say I am deeply offended by that introduction. And you're lucky that I'm not going up against you, Jacob.
Yeah, well, we up against each other 2 weeks ago, and you beat me. So There you go. You've had your victory over me over this year. All right, well, those are introductions. As I just stated, it'll be our 4 matches, as we always do. Each person will give their opening arguments, followed by a rebuttal period, and then a question period from our audience here. Everyone will give a score of 1 to 10 for each contestant, and the person with the highest score will win. And you know what? Let's just get into it.
Well, can we?
First match.
Molly, can you? Are you back? Okay. I'll have to move cameras,
Not
but
good.
I am. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
okay. I'll have to move cameras around.
All right. Let's do a brief technical intermission while Dayton adjusts.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm flustered. I'm flustered.
My Wi-Fi.
Your video's off.
That's fine. We can. Yeah. It's Molly. Keep your video off. Oh wait, is she coming back?
Oh, we're back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
she's
gonna?
not present.
All right.
I can't
I
tell
think
she's
I'll
dead
shut-
staring or okay.
We can't
think
hear
I'll
you right now,
off.
though. All right. Yeah, Molly, just keep your video off.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully it'll stabilize a bit by the time we get to match 3. But right now, Molly just has to be able to listen in. Okay.
Hang on. I'm fixing cameras.
All right. While we are waiting for that, Gabe, what's your favorite thing about the Michelin Man we're about to see in match 1?
The Michelin Man.
Mhm.
You know that commercial when he like throws tires on people's cars and they magically change and he saves them? That's pretty nice of him. That's a good perk, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's a pollution monster.
Yeah, I mean he's killing planet, I should say, one tire at a time, but at least it's doing some good, saving those families.
Right.
And I don't have Michelin tires. I have Goodyear tires, so I don't know. There's gonna have to be quite an argument for them to just make Michelin Man the guy that I want, because like Goodyear's got some good shit,
They have a blimp.
Good
Hence
stuff.
the name.
Yeah, Goodyear, good tires. So.
Emily, do you have any experience with Booberry?
No, actually, none. So I'm hoping there's a little bit of history or background here because I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah, I don't know who that
Oh,
is.
so now you
just
want
wait.
history and background, you guys.
Joseph's just salty for the sake of being salty at this point.
Yes.
All right. We're good, Jacob.
All right. Well, let's find out about these mascots in match number 1 with Joseph repping repping Booberry. I'm off today, guys. I'm off. I'm sorry. Let's get into it. Joseph, you're first.
All right. So I got Michelin Man. Actually, his name is some dumb shit. It's Bibendum. But no one knows that, and I think they only say that in France. So it's not important, but it's interesting. Moving on. What is the purpose of a mascot? All right. I narrowed it down to 3 options, or three points. We got inspiration, capitalism, and joy. And I'm gonna work my way backwards through these. So, Dayton, if you want to bring up joy, the original suits were worn to spread joy to school children, and inspire creativity and kindness. They were definitely not there to create nightmares or instill fear. So that's pretty awesome. So we got joy covered here. Next we got capitalism. He's a cuddly guy that wants to keep you safe. Kind of wants to sell tires at hyperinflation prices. But he also likes to drink. This ad translates to "now is time for drinking," which I don't really know why that's associated with tires, or why it's a good idea for driving. But selling tires, man. Also something about Michelin stars. He hands out stars and promotes travel and eating at nice restaurants. So we got capitalism in the bag. Next, we got inspiration. Now, the Michelin Man was created in 1984. He's one of the longest standing mascots worldwide. And he has inspired multiple recreations across the years. First, we've got the famous Pokemon Snorlax, as you can see on your screen when the stream pops up. Secondly, we've got the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man from the 1984 Ghostbusters.
Yep.
And thirdly, we have Alex Perkins' mother, which is the most recent addition to that list.
Wow.
Don't talking about Joanna, all right? Joanna's a saint.
We're going there.
Moving on. Actually, that's about all I got. Mic drop. Your turn, buddy.
I'll have to let my mother know about that, Barb, when she gets out of the meeting for the nonprofit she started. All right. Okay. So I've picked Blueberry from cereal. I've decided this time around to just go, nice and simple. I'm just gonna pull a card out of Joseph's hand and just read off the history of Blueberry for my entire argument. So, Blueberry was born in a small town into a family at war with a neighboring clan. One night, he crashed a party of the neighboring family with his pals. Saw a girl there, with whom he fell in love at first sight. She was arranged to marry another man, so they decided to get a rushed marriage behind everyone's backs. But the night before, Blueberry got into a street fight, which resulted in the death of her cousin. So he was banished and fled. His love concocted a plan to fake her own death so they could reunite, but Blueberry never got the message, and upon finding what he believed to be her corpse, he took his own life. Once she awoke to this tragic sight, she decided to join him in the afterlife. And so, Blueberry now fills your cereal bowl with his unrequited love, which is why it tastes so good.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's like ringing a bell somewhere. I'm not really sure where.
I can't put my finger on it.
He's a pretty iconic mascot. That's why you all know the story.
Right.
Did he go by any other names? Like, I don't know, like Romeo or something?
No,
Okay.
It goes by Blueberry.
Okay.
Was that pre or post death that he went by Blueberry?
All the above.
Oh, okay.
You don't just pick a new name when you die.
He's not wrong.
I mean, nearly headless Nick from Harry Potter would beg to differ, but continue.
Birch, you have anything else, or is it time for rebuttals?
I think we're good for rebuttals. I've said my piece.
Joseph, go ahead.
All right. Blueberry is just a dumb fucking ghost. He doesn't instill joy, capitalism, or inspiration, and he's not even as good as Casper. So, get that shit out of here. He doesn't like to drink, as far as I know. So sounds like a pretty lame ghost, and he doesn't care about your safety by putting good tires on your car. Not even the part of the original release of Monster cereals. It was Count Chocula and the Frankenberry. So not even an OG. And thirdly, I'm just gonna say it. Cereal is the hand jobs of breakfast foods. You'll eat it if it's there, but it's not your first pick. All right.
All right.
So get that fucking shit out of here.
So you mentioned that Casper's better. I don't recall Casper the Friendly Cereal. Anybody else have recollection of this? No? And no capitalism for Blueberry? What do you mean? He's the highest selling cereal mascot of all time. Close second place to Admiral Crunch. Admiral Crunch is in second. He goes by a captain, but if you look at the bars, he's an admiral. No, so like Michelin Man, I know you say he represents capitalism, but I think he's more of a moral dark place because he's hedonism actually, not capitalism. Because you look at that guy, fat as hell, just an absolute tub. And what does he do outside of tires? He puts labels on restaurants that no real person can afford to eat at. So he outprices everyone, and meanwhile just hogs down on some slop from all these restaurants, essentially like cordoning them off just for him and his oligarchs.
Okay.
And then also you mentioned that the safety. He's actually an antithesis of safety, because one time I was driving down the road and I see this white glob of a man on the side of the road. All of a sudden he chucks a tire at me, goes straight through my windshield and kills my dog.
Wow.
Not sure how that's very safe.
He's not dog friendly, You gotta take the good and the bad, I suppose.
He
He
sees
apparently
dogs,
has
he
it out
hugs
for
tires at 'em.
Yeah.
he has it out for corgis, just like Jacob.
Yeah. But he
Damn
is
right.
pro dogs in wheelchairs.
Oh, so you can sell him tires.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
Capitalism, man. And joy.
I'm gonna open up the floor for questions, and if I may start, I have a question for each contestant here. Joseph,
Yes.
does the Michelin Man condone drinking and driving? Because that's what it sounds like.
No. He condones having a designated driver or potentially ride sharing, but definitely having quality tires on said vehicle.
Okay, thank you. And Perkins, you mentioned that Blueberry's cereal tastes so good because it's a taste of unrequited love. Where does the berry flavor come from specifically?
So that's actually what unrequited love tastes like.
Mm,
Tastes like berry flavor.
all right, good to know.
Like how antifreeze tastes fruity.
Right.
Unrequited love tastes berry.
Can't
we
argue
go.
with that.
Other questions from the audience? Dayton.
Yeah, Joseph, I was just wondering if you have any hard feelings about Perks picking Blueberry in specific.
Not particularly. I do know that it is a blueberry flavored cereal,
Mhm.
and I believe it was the original blueberry cereal from my research. Never had it. Again, cereal sucks ass. So
Okay.
What were you looking for with that question, Dayton?
yeah.
Just one of Joseph's nicknames.
Oh god damn it! Fuck you.
What might that be, Dayton? What might that be?
Fuck you, dude. Trying to
If
block that out of my memory.
if Joseph gives me permission, I will say it.
I need to know.
Go ahead.
One of his ex-girlfriends called him Boo Bear.
And she said it in front of Dayton and Gabe. Never let me live it
Hell
down.
yeah.
So what it sounds like is Joseph's trying to block out a past of being heavily associated with Blueberry. He knows it's too good.
I have
Something
a
like
quick
that.
question here.
Something like that.
Go for it. Go.
So both of these mascots are arguably created to sell you products, right? You
Yes.
had mentioned capitalism.
That was
I guess my question both of you guys can answer is, if I'm having to pick between these two products, right? If I have to pick between a set of tires or cereal, I'm probably gonna pick the cereal because that just, even though it's the hand jobs of breakfast food, as you put, it just seems like a more fun product to buy. So, do you have any comments on like what makes your product fun, or like why you would pick that product over the other?
Abe, you like your car, don't you?
I
You like
do.
driving your car.
I
It's
do enjoy it.
it's a hot hatch. You go fast. You need good handling. You're gonna put cereal on your rims and call it have a good time with that.
Okay, it's a good point.
Also, lifespan. How long is a box of cereal good for? I guess sugary cereal probably lasts a while. It's only available September 1st to October 31st. You can only get it for 2 months. Not sure the shelf life, but you're probably gonna eat it. So there's what, six? I don't buy cereal. I'm gonna say 6 bowls of cereal in a box, maybe roughly. So you got a week's worth of breakfast, or depending on how you drive your car, a couple years worth of driving of tires.
Yeah, I mean, safety's fun. We did that in week 1. It's pretty badass. So
Yeah, but just longevity too.
yeah,
So, Gabe,
yeah,
you look like a human being, right?
I am. Yeah.
You in being a human being, require sustenance to be alive, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't
from time
matter
to
how good
time.
the traction on your tires is if you starve to death. Tires don't taste very good. I know from personal experience.
They don't taste good, but the nutritional
Personal
value
experience.
of them is a lot higher than you would think. They really pack their macros in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fiber.
And actually, I don't know if some of you may have seen this video where someone refinished like a bathroom sink with like ramen noodles and cement. You can actually do that with blueberry cereal to make tires. And due to the texture of the blueberry tires, you actually get better traction than those shitty ass Michelin tires,
Well, I think it's time to vote. We have some very compelling arguments today on tires versus cereal, an age-old argument there. Let's put in our scores and see who comes out on top here.
I want to go home.
Alrighty, Molly, you can tell me yours too if it's easier. Oh, there we go. You got it in. And Dayton, just press enter on that.
Nice, Molly.
Wow.
Thanks.
Wow, what a close one. Dayton, let me know when the scores are up.
Scores are in.
Scores are in. Joseph with the narrowest of victories at a 7.7 over Perk's 7.5.
If I can't beat anyone, I can at least beat Perk.
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row, Joseph has beaten
2
Perk.
years in a row, I lose on Emily not liking my argument.
Emily's the swing vote. She's the Florida here,
Tough crowd.
You hate
What
to
can
see
I
it.
say?
You
I
really
heard
do.
the story.
I gotta
before.
say though, I am disappointed that my average has moved up from 6.9. So.
That is not ideal.
Fair, Joseph.
I do appreciate that, Molly.
Dayton, do we need to update the bracket or not?
No, we don't need to update the bracket.
Not in it,
but
remember.
I need to fix the
We're in
cameras
the
for
dog
this
shit
one.
bowl.
Okay, let's do another intermission while Dayton fixes the camera. Perkins, what do you like and dislike about Subway?
Well, first of all, I'll just pipe in that maybe I would have won if my argument had come a little more from the heart. I've never had blueberry. I don't actually know anyone who's ever had blueberry.
That's facts.
But for me, it's more about the mascot.
They just created fruit snacks with those.
No way! I gotta go try that.
Yeah,
I'll do it before the
Good
cereal, of course.
stuff.
they did a blueberry fruit by the foot or fruit roll up. One of them.
Who owns
Solid.
Blueberry? Like, is it General Mills or?
Yeah. There's
the
not
question
a long
about
Wikipedia
Subway?
page on it, but I read it and it's not interesting.
I didn't.
I gotta tell you.
I don't even know if Jacob's mascot has a Wikipedia page.
I don't think he does, if I'm being honest. I got mine from
He's pretty
assorted
small.
local news articles. Yeah.
How big is Moorhead High School? Like,
it's
I'm
not
not
like
familiar
the
with that
biggest. It's not the biggest
Not
suburb in
small,
Minnesota,
yeah.
but it's substantial. Like,
okay.
I think Perk, we saw Moorhead every once in a while, like sporting stuff. I guess maybe like state level because they're not in our district, but
It's almost a single metropolitan area with Fargo.
So is it like outer ring then? Like kind of
Yeah.
further
oh,
out?
it's like
Okay.
on the border with North
4.5
Dakota.
hour. Yeah, no, it's literally like it straddles the border with Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way out in the boonies.
That explains that it's a potato.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, so Subway, big fan personally.
Mm.
Just because like it's about quantity, not quality. Like every other sandwich shop has better sandwiches, but
Yeah.
like
You get more food. I think.
yeah, Subway slops it up, bro. You know,
Sloppy steaks, baby.
Slop 'em up,
slop them up, boys.
Joseph, do you have any love of spuds or
I
potatoes?
do. Potatoes are pretty versatile. They're also pretty bland.
Hmm.
They can be used to make vodka, so that's pretty sick.
Mm.
French fries are pretty great. Can't complain there. I do like some good cheesy potatoes, as some of you guys have tried. I made them for our Friendsgiving in college.
Yep.
Pretty
Yep.
top tier. So there's some stuff to work with there. I gotta say, I don't know
There you
about as a mascot specifically, but
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
potatoes kind of fucked over the Irish with the blight, but
Oh, Joseph, we
Give and
will
take.
get into that. We will get into that.
You have a whole argument on
okay,
potatoes,
sorry,
damn it. What? I feel like
I'm
you
buckled
have
in
no
and
idea
ready.
where my
So
argument's gonna go, but I have no idea where yours is gonna go. It's
Oh, we're
get
gonna go on
weird.
a journey today, Gabe. But let's get into it, Dayton. Match 2. We have Gabe with Jared versus Jacob with Spuddy.
Okay, I'm first,
Gabe,
right?
you are starting.
Okay. I'm waiting for the animation.
why didn't you use the picture of him being led away by police?
I couldn't find a good one of it.
I'm incarcerated.
I was gonna Photoshop him, but I kind of figured that would be like a bad taste. So
Yeah. All right, so my mascot is probably secondly most known as the mascot for Subway, which is a wonderful sandwich restaurant, as all you guys know. He was the spokesman for 15 years and was in over 300 commercials with Subway. He was kind of different than a lot of other mascots that we see and fast food and just kind of like restaurants in general. Because he's like just a human, he's not like a clown like in McDonald's or an anthropomorphized king in Burger King. He's just a guy, right? Jared's just a guy. He got the gig because he ended up losing some weight eating Subway sandwiches, and that worked pretty well with the whole eat fresh thing. So he's just kind of like a living example that like eating Subway is a path to like your health and tranquility. And at the peak of his empire, of his like popularity, this man was worth $14 million, all right? And that kind of comes out to 2.8 million $5 footlongs, if you guys want to use Subway units. So just so you guys know, Jared single-handedly kind of just showed the world that you can eat fast food and lose weight, and teach generations that there's benefits to Subway sandwiches, right? Eat fresh you can have a tasty sandwich and lose weight. And it was very inspiring for those 15 years. And I think this lesson is kind of understated because of if you guys don't know, he was accused of being a pedophile and was
Accused? Is that the word we're using?
we can use the word convicted. That was the outcome of the case. But I don't know if many of you guys know this, but the reason he was incarcerated is his message of like health and fitness in the food restaurant industry was seen as a threat. Okay, so Big Sandwich came after this guy, right? All right, so hear me out. This is some top tier shit, and you won't hear about this from your local news station. Big Sandwich just kind of got together and didn't like that, he was showing people you can eat healthy and lose weight, and that's not what Big Sandwich stands for. So they got together, all these fast food restaurants, and put incriminating evidence on his computer, created fake profiles and fake conversations, bought fake plane tickets, I mean, this goes like deep, right? This guy, the Big Sandwich really had it out for him. They put everything they could under the sun to try and catch this man. And they were the ones who did the anonymous tip that he may or may not have had child pornography on his laptop, and he may have not flown to a different state, which he wasn't even planning on doing because he didn't know he bought the plane tickets to meet a minor to do sexual acts. Unfortunately, this method was proved very effective, and the authorities caught wind and saw this incriminating evidence and put him on trial. And this goes even deeper. His attorney was under Big Sandwich's pocketbooks. He's paid off by Big Sandwich. So his defense was very, very poor. The judge is even rumored to be under Big Sandwiches. They were offered free McDonald's for life and free McChickens whenever they want. So it's a pretty good offer, and I see why they did it. But I mean, Jared just kind of a fall man, if you really think about it. He ultimately took this fall and is incarcerated for a number of years. All right, he had to plead guilty because the other option was just a longer sentence, and he would die without having to taste another Subway sandwich, and he can't have that. So his sacrifice and dedication to Subway will live on forever as a reminder that you can eat fresh.
Wow.
Wow.
I have so many things I would like to say to that, but I have to save them. Okay, well, you know, this podcast, this bullshit bracket, people have lamented a lot about the amount of history that is spoken, but I'm sorry. We won't be able to understand the present unless we understand what came before. Okay, so I must tell you the tale of Spuddy the Spud, aka Spuds. Okay, and I have I've moved my script over, so I'm looking at the camera as I read you this inspiring tale. All right, that everyone should know. As everyone knows, potatoes only come from two places, Idaho and Ireland. All right, and while you might think that Spuddy is a domestic spud, this is actually an immigrant story. Okay, Spuddy was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1827. He had a happy childhood full of laughter and starch. However, as you all know, in 1845, the Great Potato Famine hit Ireland, and Dublin became a very dangerous place for a young spud. In fear of being eaten, Spuddy had to flee his home country at the ripe young age of 18. Unfortunately, he didn't know how to sail, so he aimlessly drifted across the Atlantic, thankfully being able to survive via photosynthesis. He eventually made landfall in Newfoundland, where he encountered some Vikings. While they initially tried to eat Spuddy, he quickly befriended them with his quick wit and potato puns. They then told Spuddy they were about to make a journey to a mysterious new place called Minnesota. They had just cut a deal with the mayor of Minneapolis to start a new football team with Vikings as the mascot. Since he didn't know anyone else in the country, Spuddy decided to go along with them on their journey. Spuddy and the Vikings traveled through Quebec and Ontario, almost dying through the cold in the harsh Canadian wilderness. However, they finally made it to Minnesota, and Spuddy instantly fell in love with the beautiful landscape. As they made their way down south towards Minneapolis, Spuddy suddenly stopped, and he turned west. Viking asked him, "What are you doing, Spuddy? We're going to the big city." And he said, "No, I hear my people calling to me." Spuddy traveled to the west of Minnesota, where he eventually reached what he was searching for, a giant farm of Idaho potatoes right there in Minnesota. He had found his brethren. Over the next 25 years, Spuddy became a pillar of the community, helping the farmers grow their taters and mentoring the young spuds. And in 1871, when William Galloway Moorhead decided to found the city of Moorhead in his location, Spuddy remembered his Viking friends made a lot of money being mascots in the big city, and he decided to become one himself. Spuddy became the official mascot of Moorhead High School, beloved by the community. And while he went unrecognized for hundreds of years, in 2020, he was named the #1 high school mascot in Minnesota. Spuddy is the best mascot because he's the inspiration to us all and a distillation of the American dream. He came to this country as a refugee, and through loving others and hard work, he became the best mascot in Minnesota. The end.
Wow, that was good.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Inspiring.
Gabe, your rebuttal.
I'm sorry, I gotta wipe away my tears. Yeah, our arguments are so stupid, dude. So I have very short rebuttal for things against Spuddy. I guess my first thought just from that story is I want to know where the Minnesota M came from, or I guess it's from Moorhead, but if you look at the Minnesota University, I believe the font is the same. It looks to be the same M. So maybe he got a tattoo. He was so dedicated. But, I think my biggest gripe with Spuddy is he's just like Mr. Potato Head, and then the letter M from that university. It just seems a little. His whole design just seems a bit uninspired. And the fact that he got like best mascot in Minnesota is just kind of depressing. That just tells me like all the mascots in Minnesota aren't that good, at least for high schools. And you know he's a lot of carbs, guys. Carbs are not in 2022. It's just a bad thing. Subway has plenty of low carb options, just so you know. And I think the best part about potatoes in general are usually things that you need to add to them. I mean, just like Joseph was saying, like cheesy potatoes, or they're kind of bland on their own. You got to add salt or a big ass letter M to make it interesting. So I don't really feel like he's a very inspiring mascot. And finally, I think there is just a level of connection that you can have with a real human that is Jared Fogle from Subway. I think many people across many age ranges were able to have.
Stop. Just stop. Stop.
And I don't think Spuddy could ever do that. He just, there's this level of fiction between him that people just can't relate to, or one's a real human being.
You call Spuddy fictional, but I just outlined that Spuddy is a real person. You say his design is uninspired. He wasn't created, by a PR team. That'd be like saying, Gabe, your design is uninspired. All right, he was a spud grown in Ireland. He didn't pick his design. As far as the M, look, he copied the Vikings with their mascot. He's copying. He's not the most original person. All right, I'm sorry. He's many things. He's very loving. Not the most creative guy. But you know what? He's a good spud. He loves the kids. He loves his high school kids, and he's there to help inspire them. But let me tell you what.
Fogle also loves the kids.
Yeah,
well,
I've heard that as well.
We got some problems there, Joseph. Because if I may, I have so many things I need to say about Jared Fogle. All right, I first just want to reiterate the clear statement: convicted felon on the counts of traveling to pay with sex
sandwich
minors and possessing child pornography. Now,
big sandwich.
I didn't know you were gonna go this big sandwich route, and it just makes zero sense, Gabe. Because here's the thing: you're saying that Big Sandwich doesn't want people to believe that sandwiches are healthy. That makes zero sense. They would have so much more business. They would make so much more money if people thought eating their food was healthy. They would come there more often. That makes zero sense.
Think about it. They don't want to change their recipe and make their sandwiches healthy. They just need to eliminate the one healthy option so that they can thrive.
They don't have to change the recipe. If people think food is healthy, they just want an excuse to eat fast food.
But the thing
if they're
is,
like,
their
somebody's like, "Hey, fast food's healthy,"
their campaigns have never worked. Jared Fogle's has. So that's
it did until it didn't. It did until it didn't it? Because the issue of having a real person as your mascot is that a real person is fallible. In this case, a complete creep and pedophile. Well, here's the thing.
Spuddy was real.
You said that Spuddy's real. You said that he lost a bunch of weight by losing Subway, or by eating Subway, right?
Yes.
Eating Subway caused him to lose weight. Here's the real facts, folks.
Or he lost Wikipedia page.
You're damn right I am.
I know.
He lost. He said he lost 245 pounds by eating Subway. All right, that is a lie. He lost that weight because he went from eating 10,000 calories a day to 2,000 calories a day. I don't care what you're eating. If you cut 8,000 calories a day out of your diet, you're going to lose weight, all right? It wasn't the fucking Subway. It was that he cut 8,000 calories a day out of his goddamn diet, all right? Subway wasn't doing shit. So don't come here telling me, oh, Subway was the cure. It was not. He cut a bunch of calories out of his diet, all right? And here's the thing. Jared's always like, oh, I like things that are a foot long. Obviously, that was not true after child pornography charges came out, all right? He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar, all right? And here's the thing. Even if Big Sandwich was the reason he was convicted, the fact still remains that every time anyone over the world, I mean, Subway is a global brand. Any person walks into a Subway, they're like, man, wish I never think about pedophile every time I come in here. He ruined it. He ruined Subway for so many people.
Sandwich ruined it. They won.
It doesn't matter. Jared is inherently tied to this horrible, horrible just disgusting thing that he did or didn't do, whatever. He did it. All right. He's a disgusting pedophile. As Joseph said, mascots are supposed to be inspirational. Jared only inspires disgust. All right.
Because Big Sandwich changed the narrative, man. I mean, this goes all the way up to the top, Top of the
Let's open the floor for questions. Joseph.
Joseph.
So this is for Gabe.
Yeah.
I just want to know or hear your accuracy of this statement.
Mhm.
So when the news broke about Jared Fogel's mistake, I'll say his my friend described him. We were talking about it. My friend goes, "Oh, the Subway guy? He's like America's sweetheart." That's a direct quote, by the way. Would you describe
recently?
No, this was in 2015 when it happened.
Oh, when it broke. Okay.
Pre-event, I'll say. Would you say that Jared Fogle was America's sweetheart?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what made him a target, right? He was so inspiring that people saw it as a threat. You see that time and time again. I mean, Martin Luther King, very inspiring man, became a target because of his message. So
I don't think he touched kids though.
Again, different approach. They chose violence instead of planting evidence on his computer. So just different methods of taking him out.
To that point, if I could ask a question.
Well, no, that's not no.
You're changing the format.
You can't change the format just so it helps you. That's not how this works.
Follow-up question, Gabe.
Yep.
Regarding the footlong scandal of 2018, where I believe it was 2018, where a man bought a footlong sub and took a tape measure to it, and it was only 10 inches long. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah,
and how that affects the brand?
Yeah, I would say if Jared was still there, that wouldn't have happened. I think.
I don't know. I think Jared likes shorter sandwiches in general. I think he might have been caused.
He was more of a 6-inch guy rather than a full foot long. I gotcha.
Yeah,
Jared
I
can
think
fudge
he
the
wouldn't have
numbers.
stood for it. I don't think Jared would have stood for that. And like I said, it's sad that he had to take the fall. And he was critical to the brand, and that was just an unintended consequence, unfortunately, for the ruining the brand. Big Sandwich just really had a deep cut. So,
other
Emily, you have a
questions?
question?
Yeah, I did have a question. In your first sentence, you referenced that Jared was a spokesperson. So a lot of us picked mascots here today. Just curious to hear your definition between spokesperson and mascot. Can you defend that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they're very intertwined. Definitely a little bit of a corgi racing pick, I'd say. It's on the edge of a mascot for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it was important to me to spread the truth about Jared Fogle, something that I feel passionate about, and I think in a lot of ways he was a mascot for the brand. I mean, when people hear Subway, a lot of times they think, "Oh, Jared from Subway," just like they think of Flo from Progressive. I think those are equally mascots.
Josh, you had a question? Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Emily, follow up.
No, I just said that was a good comparison. Appreciate it.
Okay. Josh.
Okay, so when I hear the story about Jared, it's really reminiscent to me of the Papa John story.
Mhm.
And I was kind of wondering if you think it's the same sort of cabal that framed Jared also tricked Papa John into saying the N-word.
was
Josh,
big
thank
pie,
you for
big
asking me this
pizza pie.
question. I think it's possible, but Big Sandwich and Big Pizza are two different entities with different
Agendas.
agenda. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
they
I was
might
gonna word.
umbrella. They might.
And there's an entire possibility. They're like, wow, that worked super well for Big Sandwich. Maybe we should trick him into saying the N-word so that he gets out of the picture. That's entirely possible, but that truth just hasn't come to light yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
Joseph.
Do you think Big Pizza and Big Sandwich fall underneath Big Fast Food? So they could be related entities.
This is true. I do think there's a Venn diagram where these people overlap 100%.
Okay.
But I do think there are some people that are firmly in big sandwich, and there are people who are firmly in big pizza.
For sure. It's okay.
Any other questions? All right.
All right.
Oh, Joseph. All right. Last question.
I'm sorry. They're just coming off the dome now. Jacob,
Mhm.
have you ever eaten a raw potato or like an undercooked potato, perchance?
Those are two very different things. Which one are you asking?
Well, like severely undercooked that it's you know, it's a little too crunchy, you know?
I mean, no. Or if I have potatoes aren't for eating; they're for inspiring the masses. That's what Spuddy does for us. Okay.
Okay.
And you know what? I just want to say, because I didn't mention it earlier, the reason Spuddy did not reach the heights of popularity like Jared is that, like many immigrants in this country, due to the color of his skin, he's just not getting the press. It's hard out there for a brown Spud as opposed to, a white guy like Jared who could just get away with anything. So,
I don't think he did get away with everything.
That's also fair. That's also fair. But he was paid millions and millions of dollars to be a pedophile.
Who's to say Spuddy hasn't? Do we know his taxes?
I think Spuddy works for free. He's just that good of a guy.
Okay. Let's get on that.
But all right, let's vote.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Two pillars of the community right here.
Clearly.
Jared and Spuddy the Spud, aka Spuds.
Wow, Kirk.
Wow, Kirk is having a spite vote today.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like either of your arguments.
Did you say they made you uncomfortable?
Joseph, I think you press enter.
I'm still.
Oh, he's still working through the numbers in his head. Wow.
Oh.
All right, scores are in.
Scores are in. Gabe with even a narrower victory than in match 1 today, 7.8 versus Jacob's 7.7. Let it be known that a pedophile won out today.
For the record, I voted slightly higher for the potato than the pedophile. I just want that on record.
We should go through here and see who. All right. It is time for. Let's go back to the bracket. Dayton, our cameras good to go.
I fixed them.
We're all set to go.
Time.
Thank you, Dayton. Molly, are you good? Can we hear you?
Yeah. Doing good.
Awesome. You're a little bit choppy, but we're gonna go with it.
All right.
Okay, let's get into match number 3 with Molly with Otto the Orange versus Josh with Rosie the Riveter. Molly, you start.
All right. So, I just want to start to the symbolism of the color orange. The color is linked to royalty and spirituality. And it brings about the feelings and behaviors of increased energy levels, increased excitement, and increased enthusiasm. It also increases your creativity level, and it's viewed as a more playful and vibrant color. So with this great explanation of the color orange and combining it into a mascot, we form, out of the orange, the best mascot of all times. And with having this great quality of energy levels and increased enthusiasm, the fans are a great support at these games, and it helps the team and motivates them to win and be ranked as a top 30 school. And for you to know, there's about 6,000 college universities in the U.S., so that to be a top 30 school in sports, that's about 0.5% chance. Wow. So, and a lot of that winning is due to Otto the Orange and the energy levels he brings to these sports teams. Sports Illustrated even ranked Otto the Orange as one of the best college mascots of all times. To be ranked as one of these best mascots, that's a 0.15% chance. So, closing statement, Otto the Orange, he's liked by about, I would say, 100% of the people, just for his friendliness and the energy levels he brings. And what other type of mascot brings such a high percentage of liking.
There we go. Josh, your argument.
All right. So I chose Rosie the Riveter. I guess first I'll say recognizability. Probably one of the most recognizable icons, mascots in the world ever. Doesn't matter what country. Anyone will know Rosie the Riveter. Well, first of all, because of the World War II, importance with getting women into the workforce. And then also it's kind of become tied to a feminist movement around the world. So people always associate it with that. And then impact, especially economical impact. During World War II, Rosie the Riveter inspired 6 million women to join the workforce. And since then, that amount has not dropped below pre-war levels. And I'm extremely for inclusivity. And so I would like to point that out. And that's why it's so important to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Molly, your rebuttal.
I don't know why that was the funniest joke, but it was.
So if you look at the ad for Rosie the Riveter, there is a hue of orange in it. So this actually brought about the increased energy levels and bringing more women into the workforce. So if they didn't have the complementary colors of blue and orange together, I don't think it would have popped out as much and been as an iconic ad, if you say so. Also, from history.com, women still lagged equal pay with this ad. So if it was completely for feminism, why do we not have equal pay until 60 plus years later? And also, a male created the ad by the name of J. Howard Miller. So if this was completely for feminism, why did a male create this ad? And also, if you look at this ad, it's more of a tomboy. Where are the more feminism appearances? Why don't we have more of a girly girl up there? Why don't we present for both tomboy and girly girls? Why is it still depicted more as a male female? The ad, it was meant to only to have women temporarily work in the workplace. So when World War II was done, they thought that women should go back to being household people. But you want to know what kept them in the workplace? It was Otto the Orange with his energy, enthusiasm, motivation, and his creativity. It just helped produce a more, I would say it helped produce women that went to aerospace, engineering, whatever. It just, Otto the Orange inspired.
Love it. Josh.
All right. Well, first, before I get to my PowerPoint here, you said J. Howard Miller. Well, that's not the OG one was Norman Rockwell, and that has almost no orange in it. So there's that. And then okay,
it's a
hey, it's my turn. It's my turn. You were talking a lot of shit about Rosie the Riveter, so I
oh my god,
I knew you were gonna do it. So I pulled up put together a quick PowerPoint, if you will.
You have.
You forgot your subtitle.
Out of the Orange rebuttal. Next slide, please.
Click to add subtitle.
I just want to make sure this is the guy. This is I've never seen this mascot before, and I, as with most people, don't even know who it is. So
that is him. Yes.
Okay. All right. Next slide, please. Is this him on the right-hand side next to Kim Jong-un?
Can you describe Josh, for the audio listeners what they're saying?
So there's Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, surrounded by a bunch of generals, and lo and behold, right-hand side of the picture, in full uniform, Otto the Orange.
Nice Photoshop job.
Okay, Photoshop. Yeah, okay, not.
Big fruits get involved in this one.
Yeah, Osama bin Laden. He was boys with Osama bin Laden. If you can see on this picture, there's Osama bin Laden right next to him, out of the orange, hanging out. Next slide. Putin, hot topic right now. Is he involved with the Ukraine thing? I don't know. Right next to Putin, in full uniform, out of the orange.
The man of many nationalities and militaries.
The lawyer for Casey Anthony, as seen in this photo, out of the orange. And that's all I got. And that was from a real quick Google search. It didn't even take me that long to find all those.
Okay, let's
How
get
long
into
did it take you to
questions.
I have a
Photoshop?
question.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Josh, you speak to Rosie the Riveter being like a symbol for feminism. So I just want to know your opinion on men.
Oh. They're equal to women? Or less equal to women?
Which is it?
I'm one of those two.
I have a question for Molly.
Yeah.
One of the things about all the orange that I love the most is that they have legs for days. Okay, like the legs just keep going, and I just want to know: does that have any influence on their, inspirational power, possibly also feminist power?
They have what for days?
Legs for days. They got long legs, and I like them.
Legs?
Yeah, like the legs. Like they're an orange. And they got big blue legs.
But define the.
Oh, okay. What was your question? Sorry, I was getting caught up with the legs.
I'm saying Otto's got long legs. Do those legs have any influence on their inspirational power?
Oh yeah. I mean, he can run fast. She can run fast. Like, so much inspirational power. That's you have with legs.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go to Joseph first.
Okay. I was gonna ask this for the previous round, but it felt in poor taste. But this is to both candidates here. Can you describe the sex appeal of your mascots? I feel like the potato had it in the bag previously, so I didn't really want to ask it. But I am curious on that. Let's go to Josh first, I would say.
Yeah, one word for you. Dominatrix.
Okay.
One word for you. Creativity.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
great
it.
in the bedroom with those legs. What can they do?
Emily, you had a question.
Yeah, I did. Molly, do students or athletes of this college partake in eating oranges?
Of course.
Is that in poor taste?
What?
Is that in poor taste? Emily asked.
No, it's a good source of vitamin C, and that's why, well, oranges helps them become such great sports people. Sports, that's the word.
Should ask the same question about the potatoes.
True.
Gabe, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Molly, that slideshow is pretty damning just from a quick Google search. So I guess I just want to know your opinion on him consulting Putin in full uniform.
I honestly do not believe that happened. Somebody, I don't know, photoshopped it or something and just posed out of the oranges talking to Putin.
Okay.
It didn't actually happen.
You think
say
it's like a
those-
deep fake or something? I mean, it
None of
looked
those
pretty
pictures
realistic.
had their sexy blue legs, so
That's true.
He was in full uniform most of the time, so
That is true.
Those sexy legs could be hidden.
that is a possibility.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we vote? All right, let's get into it. This one's a bit tricky for me. Alrighty. Dayton, let me know when scores are up.
Scores are in.
Scores are in. Josh is the winner with an 8.6 over Molly's 7.9. I guess that makes Josh third place, though.
Yes.
How the bracket works is kind of weird, so you can have that, Josh. You could be third place.
Yes.
Alrighty. Dayton, do we have to do any updating of the bracket?
Nope, we don't.
All right, so then is it time for the
Yeah.
grand finals match? The grand finals championship match 4 match with Emily repping Philly the Fanatic versus Dayton repping Gritty. Emily, it's all you.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. We've heard a lot about mascots, and kind of like Joseph did, I want to bring it back to the basic. Good mascots bring energy, excitement, and they invoke some kind of emotion for their product or their event. They're a representation of their team, their town, and they provide entertainment. And I think that's what some of us were hitting at here today. But we're about to get into it for real. The Philly Fanatic is the undisputed king of professional sports mascots. When searching for the best mascots of sports of all time, that's what I typed into Google, the Fanatic actually makes all of the lists and is often used as the article's cover photo. So that says something. He's referenced as being one of the most recognizable and lovable mascots in sport history. This lovable green beast originates from the Galapagos, but actually joined baseball and the Phillies in 1978. He's described as a large, furry, green, bipedal, flightless bird with an extendable tongue. He's named after his beloved fanatical fans of the team and was introduced to the team with hope of bringing more fans to the game, but now he holds nationwide popularity. He's most famous for his pranks and slapstick humor, but most importantly, Dayton, can you cue GIF number 1?
Oh, hang on a second.
Oh.
I don't. What the hell just happened? I tried to do it, and
no.
it,
Dayton is sabotaging his opponent.
There we go. No, it works now. It works now. I think the stream dropped for a little
Yeah,
bit.
it
I
just
think it's
buffered for me on my end.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
But most importantly, we have Philly Fanatic known for his gut twerking dance moves. The Fanatic is thick with 2 C's, and he absolutely owns it, shaking that gut every chance he can get. Am I right? He challenges fans and mascots, security guards, umpires alike to frequent dance-offs. And this doesn't happen in every sport. This doesn't happen in every baseball game. This is true to the Philly Fanatic. As an added bonus, he shoots hot dogs into the stands, dumps popcorn on the announcers as part of his game day routine. Although it's not always fun and games for the Fanatic, he consistently heckles and mocks the opposing team players for the crowd amusement, as a good mascot should. In return, the running gig is that the players will steal his ATV, and this just gets the crowd going. While it's mostly in good fun, the Fanatic has run into a few hard times, and the pranks have gotten out of hand. Dayton, can you cue GIF number 2? Hopefully the stream does okay.
Yep, it's playing
Okay,
now. There's just a lag.
awesome. So, as you can see here, the Dodgers manager is actually assaulting the Fanatic during a game after this dummy prank went a little too far. Obviously, the crowd went wild. So, while maybe not great for the Fanatic and the manager that day, good for the love of the game. And you can see the passion that both of them had for the game that actually caused this large dispute. It's evident in both parties that they share just an equal passion. The Fanatic invoked emotion out of fans, players, and managers alike that day, as a good mascot should. So all in all, he is unique with both his dummy thick shape and his belly twerking dance moves. He has a spot in baseball. He has a spot in the Baseball Hall of Fame, multiple awards, and many others. He's the most fun-loving and recognizable icon of specifically the city of Philadelphia.
Love that. Dayton, your rebuttal.
All right. So, much like Philly the Fanatic, Gritty also hails from Philadelphia, and he's also named after, his team and the people that he represents. He's representing the gritty team that is the Flyers. He's a fierce competitor. He's feisty. He's talented. But most of all, he's known for his agility, despite his intimidating 7-foot tall stature. This man has been known to eat the snow straight off the Zamboni and guzzles glizzies. Now make it a coney. He was first seen in 2018 when he crawled out of his hideout in the abyss. And like the first time we matched up, this isn't like a fantasy with a stepsis. He's someone that you'd want to high five but not want to hug. He's not as lovable as Philly the Fanatic. He punched a snot-nosed kid, a 13-year-old, in the back, but he escaped with a clean record after a months-long investigation. All right? And you say that Philly the Fanatic is lovable. Gritty never claims to be lovable. He owns his violence against others.
Great.
All right, I'm ready for rebuttals.
All right, Emily, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack. But Gritty wasn't received well at all by the Flyers fans at first. You're right, he's not lovable, and clearly that was a shock. I, like many others, also grit my teeth when looking at his unkept beard and his crazy eyes. I'd like to say, like Jacob mentioned a little earlier, that he's a rip-off Philly Fanatic, but honestly, he's far too terrifying to draw a singular conclusion. He was practically crucified on Twitter for his cold-blooded, Pennywise look when the photo first dropped in 2018. He was then described as this is a quote, horrifying, bearded man-muppet hybrid whose eyes are permanently rolling around in their sockets, presumably from years of drug use. Is this somebody you want representing your fans? And also, the page itself for Gritty uses the word a bully who is unwelcoming to anyone who opposes this team. This does not sound like good representation for the team, if you ask me. But funny enough, he really only gained social media popularity actually after posing to mock the scandalous Kim Kardashian photo. Shortly after that, he became a meme, trolling the internet, and then after a few interviews, he became the butt of political jokes. Then he underwent an investigation, like Tate said, for punching a child at a meet and greet. That's really low. I don't know why you'd want to own that. So, great. His scripted persona of being feisty and manic rings true, and same for this person in real life. In almost every Google search I found, I did a lot of Googling, as you can tell, there was little mention of his contribution to the Philadelphia Flyers or hockey in general, which is what I thought was the purpose of a true mascot. What do you bring to the sport? What do you bring to our fans? But this acid trip of a mascot is actually used for a symbol of political agenda throughout the 2020 presidential campaign. Wikipedia stated that shortly after Gritty was introduced, he was reappropriated as a leftist icon, and this is a quote, because activists identified with the mascot's cheerful yet unkept manacled demeanor. First of all, Gritty does not give off the look of any type of decent activist, and secondly, what does his toxic masculinity bully personality have in left-wing politics? Why is he in politics at all? In the end, in my opinion, he frankly arrived too late to the sport to be any kind of relevance. It's a last-ditch effort at bringing attention to the state's lesser hockey team, and that would be short-lived by the Flyers' first attempt at a mascot in the 70s. Gritty won't last long. If some say he's a ripoff of the Fanatic, I guess that tells you all you need to know about the best mascot around. Gritty's a wannabe Philly Fanatic on some kind of bender with a politically charged agenda.
All right. Back to you, Dade.
Yeah, so you alluded to a lot of drug use that Gritty, falls into. You referred to him as an acid trip person, and I think you said his eyes googling around.
Specifically, yes.
Yes. But yeah, this man rips freaking lines off the Zamboni. You saw that white powder. He owns it, all right? That's the moral of the story. This guy, he owns his character. He's not, Gritty, although he's violent, he hasn't been named the most sued mascot in sports like Philly the Fanatic has. All right, this man's violent, but he gets away with it. He's got a clean record. All right, and I know I said that this isn't a fantasy with a stepsis, but I think I recall that in 1978, Philly the Fanatic replaced a pair of siblings named Phil and Phyllis. I'll let you draw the conclusions that you need to. And you say that Philly is thick, and I can't deny that. But look at his figure in specific. He's thick, but not in a good way. All right, he's bad fat right all along the abdomen, not in the cheeks. And he makes fun of people with disabilities. All right, he's been known to buff bald guys' heads if they sit too close to him in the stands. Does that sound like someone you really want to be representing your team? There's a lot of bald guys that like baseball. All right, and also you talked about how he dumps popcorn and he shoots hot dogs into the crowd. I don't know, that sounds like a lot of food waste to me. You think people are eating that popcorn after it's been on the floor? You think people are guzzling those glizzies after they've been shot through a freaking cannon 500 feet into the stands? That thing's eviscerated. And you called him masculine. He's agender, whatever you want to call it. He's not
Non-binary.
He's non-binary. All right.
He's non-binary.
That's his
You're
pronouns.
saying
No, those are his pronouns. I asked
Okay.
Gritty. He tried to punch me after I asked him, but that's beside the point. He's non-binary.
Okay.
I'm done.
Wow.
Gabe, you got a question.
Okay. Obviously, these are both mascots from Philadelphia and just different sports. And it seemed like you guys are trying to throw shade at each other, but they both kind of sound like they're just assholes. Like that's just their personality, and like that's what they're trying to do to represent Philadelphia. I guess I don't know a lot about Philadelphia, so I guess like my question is like you guys are like, oh, he punches kids. Oh, the manager assaulted him because he was so rude. Like, what kind of bullying do you think differentiates your mascot? And what makes it better than the other?
Let's go to Emily first on that one.
It's a really good question because yeah, I can see the parallels being drawn. I think where my source of bullying comes from is a sports like passion, right? So don't tell me there's no sport without a good fight, and I think Dayton would definitely agree. But the Philly Fanatic's not out here stepping into violence on purpose. That attack was clearly provoked by the Fanatic, but he didn't throw any punches. This was non-violent on the Fanatic's part. That was all in good fun for the name of the sport and some laughs as a good mascot should. So just to bring it back to say like what bullying is acceptable, obviously none, but in good fun for the sport, I think, some pranks and some emotions run high. It is warranted. Where I would argue for Gritty, he comes out with a statement. I am violent. This is who I am, and you're going to accept it if I punch a 13-year-old in the face and get away with it. That's just me, and I own it. Oh, sorry. Anyways, pass it off, Dayton.
Yeah, Gritty is just equal opportunity. He'll just bully anybody. He doesn't give a shit.
So it sounds like Philly the Fanatic is more in good fun, and Gritty is just like fuck anybody.
I would say Philly the Fanatic lacks control.
Yeah.
Gritty just lets it go all the time, but he has it under control. It's an
he
equal.
Lets it go because he has no control.
It's an equal. It's like
he's more stable.
Yes, yeah. It's just
more
it's
consistent.
those, you don't have any unprovoked.
Yeah, consistent. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Controlled chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. Okay.
Joseph, you had a question?
Yeah. Same question I asked Josh and Molly about sex appeal. However, since you did bring up the tummy twerk, I would appreciate it if you avoided that. And I want some other sex. Is there other sex appeal other than the dad bod tummy? Let's go to Emily first, please.
Coincidentally, both of these mascots have that dad bod tummy. I sent Dayton a little GIF beforehand to show that, so that we're on equal playing fields there. If you took a look at the Philly Fanatic, talk about a snout. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Big snout. Actually, it's supposed to resemble a megaphone, is what I read, but it just adds a lot of dimension and character to this face. I mean, he does kind of have an ass. But what I think is the most appealing, in comparison specifically to Gritty, is the not crazy eyes. Okay, I want somebody to look me in the eyes, you know what I mean? Like at my level. Gritty's just bouncing all over the place, and that to me is unattractive. Where if you stand them side by side, the Philly Fanatic has got a little more control of his face, and I just think that's that demeanor and composure is a little more attractive.
Emily, what about the extendable tongue?
Yeah.
It reach places.
I couldn't
What
find a
that
good
tongue do?
video, so I didn't feel comfortable sharing that today. But I just wanted to kind of plop it in there. Yeah, it's a mystery, that's for sure, and you could find out on your own time.
Dayton.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Emily isn't a fan of the googly eyes. I think personally, if somebody looked at me with googly eyes, I would take that as a sign of interest. And I know that everybody's attractions are different, but for me, googly eyes are 10 out of 10. Just gets me all bricked up.
I have a question for the both of you, and this is kind of a long one. I apologize, but Gabe mentioned that both these mascots represent Philadelphia, and they're both kind of bullies. So first part is like, is Philadelphia just a bunch full of assholes, and they're
Like
representing their
dad
town? Assholes, dad. Are they representing their town accurately? And then also, a large point of contention has been Emily saying that Gritty is way more violent than Philly, but hockey's way more violent sport than baseball. So like, are they matching their sport at the right level? So a two-parter there. I'm gonna go Dayton first. Are they matching their sport, and also is Philadelphia a city full of assholes?
Yeah, I would say Philadelphia is a city of assholes, but it's kind of like in the same way that Boston is, where that's just part of the character. You got to get to know them. And then in terms of matching the sport that they're in, I would definitely agree. Hockey's more violent. It's consistently violent, and it has that same consistent bullying throughout the entire game. It doesn't have flare-ups like baseball does when it clears the benches, the dugouts.
Emily?
Yeah, I would say admitting it is the first step. So, where Philly does have a problem, there's actually like recorded a lot of violence, and they are kind of tough and rumble people. So I think that's kind of why Gritty was created, to be honest. I just think it matches well. Where Philly Fanatic, I think Dayton said it best, right? Baseball occasionally has a few good tumbles, and maybe the Philly Fanatic represents that well. But I think he's trying to do better. I think the city wants to do better. I think baseball wants to do better. I think it's a representation of, yeah, we're not perfect, but we usually have a good time. We're usually family friendly. This is what you can expect is a good time when you come to see us or to baseball or to see our city. This is what we want. So I think that the Philly Fanatic is a good representation of some fun, some lighthearted, occasionally a little slip up here or there. And then, yeah, again, I think I've heard reading Gritty's page specifically that Philly is kind of tough. So I think that Philly, the Fanatic, is a better end of what Philly could be, the city.
All right. Any final questions before we get into the voting? All right, let's do it. Find out who is our champion. Dun, 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 dun,
I can't
dun,
watch.
Dun, 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 dun. Numbers are coming in. Almost there. Ooh, we're looking like a tight race. And there we go. Dayton, let me know when scores are up.
Scores are in. I need to fix
Dayton, our two-time champion, 8.4. Oh, hold on. Are we good? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
8.4 versus Emily's 8. It was close, but Dayton comes out victorious once again. A repeat of Bullshit Bracket year 1. Congrats to both of you. Great match. Dayton, do you have any words you'd like to say to the audience here?
No, I mean, I would just like to say I think this was a very good matchup. Emily is always an incredible opponent. She comes very well prepared. She has a very good balance of disses and also good facts to bring. So it's always an interesting matchup.
There we go. Thank you, everyone. Oh, go ahead.
Can I throw in my 2 cents on this one?
Please.
Both arguments were really, really well thought out. I just think, Emily, you didn't lean into it like you should have. You were kind of defending the lighter side of the Philly, and Dayton went like hardcore down the violence path. The Philadelphia Flyers are nicknamed the Broad Street Bullies. Like, and the people of Philadelphia are the worst people in America. So
has anyone else seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
exactly, yeah. So like the bad in this case is the good because of how terrible the people are that live there. You know.
Certainly.
There we go. Well, thank you to all of our competitors for competing this year. It's always fun to get a new group in here, and hopefully we do this again next year. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's been watching or listening. We will see you relatively soon, I think, with a regular episode of the EWF podcast. But until then, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.